All right, guys. I'm having the pleasure of speaking to one of the uh, representatives from the company SiteLock, right? Um, uh, your name is.
I'm Adam Warner. I'm the community manager for SiteLock. SiteLock is a cloud-based website security service. We offer daily malware scanning, automatic malware removal, and web application firewall.
Wow, this is a nice trained sales pitch.
I visit a lot of events.
Yes. By the way, speaking of events, how many events have you been so far?
In what year? I've been doing this job for 2.5 years. I'm a longtime WordPress community member. So in the 2.5 years I've been on with SiteLock, I think my first year was about 30 events. 2017 was 34, and I'm approaching 30 again this year. So quite a few, and not just all WordCamps, but other blogging specific events as well.
What's interesting about the other blogging events, besides WordCamp, would you advise to, some young entrepreneurs who are looking to get into event business? What else would they be interested to look at?
Well, the events that I've been to specifically are parent blogging events, crafter blogger events, and then very basic how to build a blog events. So it is a completely, not completely, it's a different crowd, it's a different feeling than you get at the typical WordCamp. Many of these people know each other from the social streams first, and watching each other's content, and then they meet up, and they're quite a bit more business focused than the typical WordCamp is. WordCamps are all about learning and sharing knowledge, which is great, and these events are as well. But most of the attendees for these events are actively generating a regular monthly revenue from their content. And their content starts with their site, and YouTube, and Twitter, and Pinterest. And
Yeah, the surprising thing I'm noticing on the all WordCamps I've been so far is that a very repeat number of sponsors. It's the same companies doing this from event to event. Why do you think that the company are doing it? Is it because is this like a business strategy to basically to since the space is limited, right? So they want to dodge away the competitors, so nobody else would be invading this team, or it's so profitable that they actually can afford that type of activity. Because to us entrepreneurs, we would rather spend money on AdWords or something like Instagram ads, not the events. But companies doing this left and right. And what's your impression?
well, it's really a multi-pronged answer. First and foremost, the companies that become, so you can become a global sponsor of a WordCamp, which gives you can be a North American global sponsor, which is all of the Americas, including Central and South America. I said North America, but the Americas sponsors. You could be a European sponsor. So, and that's global. So there are typically more than one WordCamp on every weekend. So you have access to have a sponsor table, to send people there to promote yourself. But most companies do that not for the ROI, because there basically isn't a lot of ROI at these events. It's because they're following the philosophy of free and open source software that WordPress was built on. WordPress's mission is to democratize publishing, so I think a lot of it is kind of a skipping through the field, let's support the community type of thing. But obviously companies are spending a lot of money in this community. So for myself, specifically with SiteLock, the brand has been around since 2008. Very successful business. And then when they wanted to get into the WordPress community, they discovered that the brand was hardly known. So the first year was all about brand visibility, brand recognition, and then you move into phase 2, listening to feedback, and then you move into phase 3, pivoting your products and your messaging to better meet the needs of the end users, and then phase 4 and 5 is where the ROI starts to slowly come in.
So this is it's a gradual process.
It's a loss leader is basically what it is.
Yeah. It's a very interesting insight to hear from like in this structured way. Thank you for that. Speaking of WordCamp in general, do you think what was your biggest WordCamp so far? When you had like such a big turnover, such a big success?
Well, there's the two largest WordCamps are WordCamp US, which happens once a year. This year it's in Nashville, and then there's WordCamp Europe, which just happened in June in Serbia, in Belgrade. So those are the two largest, but there are a few other WordCamps that are approaching that size. And one just had their 10-year anniversary, just like WordCamp New York, and that's WordCamp Miami. There were 800 attendees there in March. Atlanta has 700 attendees, and those are both long-term camps, very well organized.
That's really impressive. So, to entrepreneurs who are looking to get into the WordPress, it's still, in my experience, still not a crowded niche. I see so many domain providers, security companies, web hosts mostly, and this is good. This is a good opportunity for somebody who is looking to start a business.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, the very first thing, if you've got a product or a service and you're looking to engage this community specifically, the first thing to know is that you should do it because your product or service is truly going to have benefit for someone, right? You can't come in all salesy, corporate, and expect to have this community respond to you. I forgot what my second point was.
It's okay.
Edit. This community specifically has a lot of opportunity. So in terms of a plugin or service, you've got the free and open source plugin repository where you can put your product in, and that acts as the top of a funnel. It acts as the thing that creates your initial user base. And there are guidelines and there are rules and what you can and cannot do with plugins. You can't phone home without notifying your users. You can't market to them in a spammy way from within your plugin. But there are opportunities to build a free freemium version and then have pro upgrades within the product itself. So it really comes down to providing something for free and a value first, and then monetizing it based on what your users, how they're using it and what their feedback is.
Interesting. And speaking of SiteLock specifically, about your company, you've been for 2.5 years, right? Would you offer our viewers any sort of a deal or special?
Sure, yeah. So SiteLock has been around since 2008. I've been specifically doing this for 2.5 years. It's a cloud-based website security. So the way it works is you have a website, you want it protected, you connect via SFTP, SSH, or FTP, and then we have persistent access to do our daily scan, our auto removal. We have the web application firewall, which is designed to automatically stop bad bot traffic. And you can go to sitelock.com/pricing to see our current pricing. And if you want to talk further about partnerships or any other additional special pricing, feel free to contact me. I'm A. Warner at sitelock.com or on Twitter at WPModder. So feel free to reach out.